SORT exists to try and reverse the results of work undertaken by the Public Works Department in the early 1940s, in an endeavour to try and release floodwaters quicker to the river mouth and therefore relieve the damage caused by floods upstream of Foxton. The Save Our River Trust has been working for many years in beautifying the river verge and in its efforts to try and establish a new connection to the Manawatu River. Earlier, the Manawatu River Loop at Foxton provided our community with a vibrant economy as trade in flax and fibre and recreational and cultural pursuits were able to be undertaken just metres from our town centre. Today, as a result of the work undertaken by the Public Works Department, we have been denied that opportunity. Our community and our current generations have not had the pleasure that many of us older people have had in the use of the river in years gone by. The river provided our community with kai, with food, with recreational activities, swimming and playing, but now it has reverted to a toxic waste which has been described by many as a backwash only fit to assist in flood control for our authorities. 3/4 of a century have passed since that work was undertaken by the Public Works Department, and still our community is endeavouring to have returned some of the water velocity and some of the water volume to our community. The images in the video you are about to see show what this river once was, what this river currently is, and what this river, our loop at Foxton, could potentially be with the work we are proposing to undertake.
The mighty Manawatu River has flowed past Foxton since a time unremembered. The river brought food to local Māori and provisions to the Manawatu through its convenient port. All of that changed because of one environmental disaster, the botched construction of a flood spillway in 1943 called the Wherokino Cut. The town of Foxton, which once took its livelihood from the Manawatu River, now sits beside a toxic backwash. In the days when the river flowed, it was the source of mana and pride for the town. Moving to what once was the entrance of the Manawatu River to the Foxton Loop, we see increasing evidence of how sedimentation has mostly choked this once vital and healthy waterway. Looking back over the town and the transfer station, a wide panorama unfolds, with the far side of the loop now clearly visible. Matakarapa Island is in the foreground. Matakarapa was once a thriving settlement, but the government's disastrous river works made it into an island, no longer accessible by land. Living there became impractical, and within a few years the settlement had to be abandoned. The community became isolated by water, and access across the river to Foxton required a boat ride or a swim. As we progress upwards along the loop, the extent of degradation becomes progressively obvious. Few people have been able to access this area, which is bounded by private land. But now the public can walk alongside this section by following the walkway on the left. This trail was constructed by the Save Our River Trust. The choked waterway is a breeding ground for pest plants and fish and has high levels of E. coli. Weeds such as Glyceria maxima cause major blockages to flow and thrive, along with pest fish like perch. Large populations of midges and mosquitoes breed here, and this impacts the health of residents. Once plentiful local fish such as inanga, giant kokopu, common smelt and other migratory species are no longer found here. The polluted habitat cannot support adequate or healthy plant and animal life, and year by year this part of the river dies. On the left is the Motua spillway, which is used to divert floodwaters through the loop. When opened, it typically dumps thousands of tonnes of sediment into the river loop. The sediment creates the weed banks. Moving closer to the original entry point to the loop, the river has disappeared. We see a sad remnant of the original Manawatu river course. At the top end of the loop, we see a mere trace of the once mighty Manawatu river at this point. Looking again eastwards and upriver, we see again why the Manawatu loop has no effective inflow. The choked top end of the loop allows barely a trickle of water to enter. Moving down, we travel over the section of the Manawatu River which was diverted here by the Public Works Department. On the right is Matakarapa Island. Ahead is Foxton Beach. In the foreground is the UNESCO-designated Ramsar area. This reserve is home to numerous rare birds and migratory species. Visitors from all over the world come to view the birds in this internationally significant habitat. But as the river loop deteriorates, how long will the birds and the visitors come? Looking east and upriver, the bottom end of the loop can be clearly viewed. The river is tidal past this point, and the tidal surge reaches Foxton several kilometres upstream. Back in Foxton, it's obvious how the river has been choked off from freshwater supply. However, there are a range of options which could resolve this. Many professional reports confirm this is doable.
So there's a whole sequence of things that the Save Our River Trust wants to achieve. The first and the primary objective is for new water from the upstream end of the Manawatu River to be diverted back into the Manawatu River Loop. And that is, I guess, replacing what happened historically and bringing the river back to the Manawatu River Loop. And that is going to provide some engineering challenges, but has been identified as being achievable and realistic into the future. Firstly is the identification of the current channel, which you can see quite clearly in this image, but also you can see the Manawatu River Loop at Foxton in blue, and what was the original channel where it used to link in. And also you can identify the proposal, the proposed area where a new channel is looking to be constructed. The other pieces of work that the Save Our River Trust are looking to achieve are wetland enhancement along the town verge and the removal of the sediment deposits out of the river at the town verge to turn it from what is a very narrow channel now into the river it once was, with a large wide area with significant amenity and native plantings.
SORT has prepared concept plans for riverfront redevelopment at Foxton. These proposals aim to promote river use for recreation, plus amenities for locals and tourists alike. River-focused services and events like kayak hire, river tours, wakaama and canoe competitions can be supported by a range of hospitality businesses, which in turn would boost employment and the town's appeal. Foxton residents could once again look to their part of the mighty Manawatu River with pride.
In this video, Foxton Save Our River Trust has endeavoured to show you how great the Manawatu River Loop at Foxton once was. As a result of the efforts made by our volunteers, and with support and help from those who are able to do so, it is our objective to try and make this part of the Manawatu River Loop great once again. Kia ora tātou, tēnā koutou katoa.